In this video, I'll show you how to find parallel accounts of a gospel story and see why these accounts should be read together. Then I'll show you other Harmony resources that you can use for the same level of study. First, imagine that you're studying a passage like Luke 8:26 through 39, where Jesus heals a demon-possessed man. Looking at this text in the NIV, notice that in the section heading, this version provides me with a list of parallel accounts for this biblical narrative. Luke 8:26 through 37 is paralleled in Matthew 8:28 through 34. Luke 8:26 through 39 is paralleled in Mark 5:1 through 20. In Logos, we have a special tool that helps us identify parallel accounts, no matter where they occur in the Bible. To discover this information and read these accounts side by side, go to the Guides menu and create a passage guide report for Luke 8:26 through 39. When the report generates, scroll down and expand the section called Parallel Passages. Here you'll find the same references for parallel accounts that we saw in the NIV. By clicking the reference links, I can jump to these passages in my preferred Bible and read the accounts side by side. These references come from your Harmony resources, and Logos serves up this information here in the passage guide. What's nice about this section is that you can select one of the heading links from your Harmony resources and jump straight to that section of text and read the parallel passages side by side in one resource. For example, when I select chapter 66, Beyond the Lake, Jesus heals the Gerasene demoniac. Logos opens A.T. Robertson's text to that section. Now I can follow the story in all three accounts, making it easy to compare and pinpoint significant details unique to one account. For instance, in Luke, the author tells the story of Jesus encountering a demon-possessed man who had not worn clothes or lived in a house, but lived in tombs. From Mark, we discover that this individual had an unclean spirit, then that he lived in the tombs, which just happened to be an unclean place. Mark makes this connection for us, while Luke doesn't. Then, Mark goes on to describe this man as someone who could not be bound, not even with chains. Although some people had tried, this man was uncontrollable. The uncontrollable man presented here is connected closely with the uncontrollable sea from the previous story in Mark chapter 4. So reading parallel accounts can be extremely helpful in getting all the details of a biblical story. And the parallel passage tool works for text outside the Gospels, like the pastoral epistles. Take, for example, 1 Timothy 3:1 through 7. When I enter this passage and create a new guide report, Logos now shows me parallel text in Titus 1:5 through 9. If I select the heading link for this Harmony resource, Logos then allows me to read Paul's qualifications for elders in both texts. Looking at these texts side by side, one obvious difference is that in 1 Timothy, Paul warns against appointing a recent convert, a warning not given in the book of Titus. Many believe that Paul included this warning in 1 Timothy and not in Titus because the church at Ephesus had existed for some years and could be more selective in their choice for leaders. Harmony resources also work for Old Testament text in Samuel, Kings, and Chronicles. Take, for example, 2 Samuel 7:1 through 17, where God commits himself to King David through an everlasting covenant. When I input this reference and create the new guide report, Logos now tells me there's a parallel text in 1 Chronicles 17. When I jump to the resource Synopsis of the Old Testament, then scroll down to the famous lines in verses 11 through 13. I find that 2 Samuel includes some details about the covenant that 1 Chronicles leaves out, like the part where God promises to discipline the descendants of David with the rod of men and with the stripes of men. But notice that the covenant love of God is the same in both texts. To get started using Harmony resources and Logos, place your order today.